Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, where's my glove? You owe me the glove for getting the call right this weekend.
You're right, man. I will hand deliver that to you on Wednesday. Very impressive, Israel Adesanya this weekend. His best fight in UFC, his tenure there, I would say, by a long shot. I was extraordinarily disappointed with Paulo Costa in this one. Possibly the worst game plan ever in a UFC title fight. No?
Yeah, we'll be getting into that anyway. But first of all, Russ, I made sure to wear the t-shirt you got me for my birthday, so thanks a mil. If you are new to the show, guys, make sure to like and subscribe and comment below because we have a great show. We're going to be going over this weekend's UFC 253. We're obviously going to be talking about Conor McGregor versus Dana White, and then we have a very special guest at the end of the show. Kiefer Crosbie is back on the show. Everyone loved him on last time, so he's back. Ross, UFC 253. Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, Israel Adesanya put on an absolute striking clinic against Paulo Costa. The leg kicks for a start. Have you ever seen someone's leg bruised that quickly?
No.
Like within the round, he had like welts all over his legs. And also, Paulo Costa is a bit more of a sallow skin tone. And I think like it takes longer for those bruises to develop in someone with a sallower skin tone. It was an incredible performance. The finish was almost a bit strange looking because he sort of half hit him with a punch behind the ear and then mounted him and just smashed him. It was a great thing. I think Paulo Costa landed 3 kicks in the entire fight. Now, they looked like they were heavy enough kicks, but no punches thrown, really.
What do you think was wrong with Paulo Costa going into this? Because you thought that he was going to win. Like, as the week went on, I was sort of like, I think Costa might actually win. He seems to be in Adesanya's head. But then it was just the total opposite on game day.
Yeah, he didn't seem to do what brought him to the dance and sort of walk his opponents down. He just seemed to be more mocking Adesanya than anything. And it just did not work for him. It was a very strange and terrible game plan. It really was. And Adesanya was like perfect. Adesanya had the perfect game plan. He was like, I'm not going to get into this absolute fight in a phone booth with you when you're letting me like smash it from afar.
Yeah.
And like when he landed that left head kick, I think it almost looked like Costa was like, oh shit, I don't know what to do here.
It was just a proper world champ against almost someone who is just new to the game. They were in 2 different leagues.
Yeah, you know what? It made me doubt whether Costa would beat a top 5 opponent next. That's how sort of unimpressed I was by him.
Do you think you see, you can't really blame the crowd because there's no crowd there. Like, what do you think overawed him? Do you think it was just the persona of Adesanya? Do you think it was sort of like a McGregor effect sort of thing? Like he was almost in awe of him?
You know what? It was almost reminiscent of Eddie Alvarez fighting McGregor.
Yeah.
He told him he was going to beat him so badly all the time. And then when it came to fight night, he was just outclassed.
That's the thing. We were almost expecting like a fight of the year candidate here. I know we said that last time with Romero when he took on Adesanya, but this time it was real like this is going to be backs against the wall, like slugfest. I thought it would be like a back and forth. Costa to take the first 2 rounds, Adesanya to come back and take the last 3, but it didn't go that way at all.
No, it didn't. Adesanya won nearly every second of the fight, and look, probably the best middleweight champion since Anderson Silva.
Is that what you honestly believe now, yeah? Because you're obviously missing Michael Bisping.
Well, who was there? Bisping, Weidman, Rockhold, George St. Pierre.
George St. Pierre.
Well, I don't even know if I count George St. Pierre. I feel like George St. Pierre just like ended Bisping's reign. He wasn't actually a middleweight champion.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if George St. Pierre even held that middleweight belt for more than a week, really, before saying he was getting rid of it.
No, did he not? Oh, yeah. Didn't he get rid of it very fast?
Yeah. It was like, nah, I'm good, thanks. Robert Whittaker as well. And obviously, he beat Robert Whittaker quite handily. So that I would say is like next best performance to Robert Whittaker fight.
Yeah. So where does Adesanya go from here? Like, it seems like the fight that people want is versus John Jones.
That's what I said. We did a little question box on who should Adesanya fight next. I answered it myself saying John Jones. That's the fight I want to see. After seeing him do that to Costa, I know he said he wants to fight Jared Cannonier next. And you sort of have to respect Adesanya wants to, like, fight all the top dogs.
Yeah.
He wants to, like, clean out that middleweight division. And I have massive respect for that. But I'm ready to see him versus John Jones. John Jones has nothing to do at the moment. It looks like they're going to go Miocic and Ngannou route. You could do Jones over him or something at heavyweight, but like I'd be very much ready for a 5-round light heavyweight contest between John Jones and Adesanya.
Yeah, because the thing is, Cannonier is after being confirmed to take on Whitaker at UFC 254.
Yeah.
So
he's going to have to win that fight anyway.
And Adesanya is fresh.
Yeah. Very fresh.
Yeah, but like you know, obviously we're going to get into it in a bit. Dana's having the problems with Conor, and that fight sells tickets for the arena. So like if they were to do that over in like New Zealand or Australia, that was obviously Vegas.
Maybe Izzy calls out Kazmat and tries to get Kazmat before he gets really going.
Oh my god! See, that's the thing. Like obviously the Adesanya versus Jones fight would be unreal. Like something to look forward to a lot, and because I think it's obvious to everyone now that Adesanya is in that. He's in that ballpark with John Jones based on skill and everything. That was his 100 fight in MMA as well. Just or like 100 win, was it?
Well, in combat sports.
Combat sports, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Adesanya is the real deal, man. And who do you think could beat him in that middleweight division that you'd also want to see?
To be honest, I still think you're probably looking at Yoel Romero is probably still the best bet to actually beat him. Like, no one's clamoring to see that fight, but in terms of, you know, he's going to be very hard to put away, and he might be able to land a knockout blow on Adesanya. Cannonier, I just don't see it. I don't see the level of slickness being there. And then Hermanson, I suppose, the other person who hasn't beaten, or Till. I just don't see the level of skill there to get that job done.
Till probably needs to win before he gets the fight. But also, what about any chance of Rumble Johnson cutting down to 185?
He's never fought at middleweight before. One time he was scheduled to fight there, he missed weight against Belfort and lost. So I just don't see him getting down to 185. Not this stage of his career.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see because like shit's going to happen. And that's the good thing about MMA. Like these fights do get made. Ross, Jan Blachowicz, I think everyone wrote him off. And everyone thought Dominic Reyes would get to win, but like Polish Power is triumphant. What a story, man!
Yeah, 37 years of age, came over to the UFC as KSW middleweight champion. Had a bit of a rough ride. I think he went 1-3 in his first 4 UFC fights, but then moved up to light heavyweight and he just started steamrolling people. Obviously, he beat Jacare Souza, Luke Rockhold, Corey Anderson, and then beat Dominic Reyes better than anyone. Well, Dominic Reyes only lost to John Jones, and that was controversial. And he knocked him out in the second round. Dominic Reyes didn't look like he had much of an answer for the Polish Power, to be honest. He started sort of almost knocking him down at will, and we have a new 205-pound champion.
Yeah, he did make a terrible call out after saying he wants John Jones to fight him. It's like John Jones just left; he's not going to come back. Like, who do you want to see Blachowicz take on next?
Well, if John Jones doesn't get a fight at a heavyweight, he might come back for Jan because he might look at Jan as an easier fight. You never know. But if he's not available, I think it's going to be the winner of Thiago Santos and Glover Teixeira. It's going to fight Jan Blachowicz next for the light heavyweight belt.
That'll be all right.
Especially if it's Thiago Santos as well.
Is there anyone else in that card that impressed you before we move on, Ross?
Not really, to be honest, but maybe Brandon Royval might get that UFC flyweight title shot. He looked very good against Kai Kara France.
He did look very good. Well, this weekend it's like it's a woman fest in the UFC. Holly Holmes headlined the card against Irene Aldana. Also, Jermaine Duran's on the card against Juliana Pena. What are you expecting this weekend from both fighters? Both fights, sorry, Ross.
Well, I actually think UFC should have made the grudge match Holly Holm versus Jermaine Durandamy, and that should be the main event. And I would have had an interest in the card. To be honest, I don't really have much of an interest in the card. I think Holly Holm is going to have too much for Aldana on the feet, and I think she's going to win a decision.
Yeah. So in an ideal world, Holly Holm will win and Jermaine Durandamy will win and take on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Ross, like obviously things are after exploding since the last show. Like Conor McGregor announced he wants to box Manny Pacquiao. He's also after announcing as well that he's after inviting Dustin Poirier over to Dublin to fight in the Tree Arena on December the 12th. We actually talked about this with Kiefer in our interview later on. So if you want to stick all the way through, make sure to check that out. But Ross, like, Conor McGregor then released DMs between himself and Dana saying everything that happened in the background. Like, where do we start with this, man? You know what I mean? Like where do you want to start? Do you want to start off with the Pacquiao?
Man, no. Let's start off in the DMs, man. It's all going down in the DMs,
all
man.
down the DMs, man.
So Conor McGregor DM'd Dana White saying, "What's going on? I'm looking for a fight. What have you got in May?" Dana White said, "There's only small shows in May." He was like, "Can we do LA?" And Dana was like, "We don't have anything. I have Justin Gaethje for you in July, if you want." Or when he said Super Bowl weekend, he's like, "When's that? July?" He's like, "Too far away." Like, we need to do the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
Pull a card out and put me in there, or change the venue and put me on top of a fight night card. And then he also said he'd fight Diego Sanchez in Dublin in, was it August or November?
It was later on in the year, definitely.
Yeah. I think he was trying to do his sort of season, and then he would then fight back for the title early 2021. I was sort of down for it. The Diego Sanchez fight was so random to be thrown in there, especially seeing Diego Sanchez lose this weekend. Yeah. He looked in terrible shape.
Yeah.
Did you see him try to do the Masvidal?
Yeah. The thing is, like, slagging off the sort of Diego Sanchez fight in hindsight, you know what I mean? It's a terrible matchup. But, like, before that, you'd be like, you know, I'd be up for Diego Sanchez McGregor in the Tree Arena, you know?
Well, it's more, I think he was, when McGregor was on the rise, like, Diego Sanchez was always a name he might have fought. I think he almost feels he owes Diego Sanchez a fight. But look, I can't believe UFC had Conor McGregor been like, "Let's fight in May," and they turned it down.
I know.
I can't believe they didn't go, "You know what? Let's have you fight in May."
I know, man. Like, he moves the needle. Like, no one else moves the needle. Like, no one else. Like, the build up. Like, even when we put the videos out with Conor in them, they do way better. And, like, we're more into it rather than talking about this fight weekend, Holm against Aldana, where no one's clicking on the video for that.
They should have just done him versus Gaethje in May.
But, like,
why not?
But the Khabib Gaethje fight,
but at that stage, it was supposed to be Khabib versus Tony and Conor versus Justin.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. They just should have gotten in with someone, you know. Like, he finished Cowboy so fast that you didn't even get your full fix, you know. He didn't even get into round 2.
Absolutely, but I also think that why didn't they just keep him while he was fresh? You know what I mean?
I know, put him straight into another training camp.
But
but the thing is, I'm not already bothered going into massive detail on whether or not Conor should have sent screenshots out. Like people were referencing Guy code, you don't do that. Like, obviously, but like Dana was saying Conor was saying certain things, and Conor was like, "I never said that shit. This is what happened." So,
yeah, but if Dana just told the truth, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. So
it's like you're saying always about me saying like I'm turned down fights, but I asked you for fights.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like half of Conor's business is that he says he tells the truth. So like if he's pulling out fights, that's lowering his stock. But,
which is a weird thing that Dana White does all the time to his fighters that I don't really get.
Yeah, it's because he's the power. He's the president of the UFC, literally.
But, so tell me this, Baz: is this exhibition bout happening? Him versus Poirier in the Tree Arena, or the Point, as he calls it.
The Point, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it happens?
Something's gonna have to give, Ross. Like, Conor wants to do something. I think this is a massive loophole in his contract to say exhibition. I like the way he put it out. He wants to give $500,000 to charity, pay for a Poirier to come over, pay for charities. Like Masvidal was saying, I'd love to put money towards it. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, especially if they're all doing it for charity.
Yeah. Whereas, like,
I
you
love
just sitting out and doing nothing, that's useless. Like, at times like these, like remember when we just went into the coronavirus, we just went into lockdown, like we did like 40 like interviews in a row every day. Like, you need to be keeping busy in times like this. You know what I mean? Like shout out to one of the lads we train with. Like he's a pilot, and he's been stuck in the ground for the last month, and he only knows he's doing one shift next week. Like, some people right now aren't working at all. And like, I know when I wasn't working, I lost the head.
Yeah.
So
As
like,
you would, like, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
tough
man,
times.
tough times. Yeah,
Like, as Connor says, give the fans what they want. They want a McGregor show.
exactly. And then, like, you know how it feels. Like, we do this show, we don't get paid to do the show. We do it for the crack. We like Kiefer. We had to pay Kiefer $2,000 to come on the show. But I mean, like, Theo doesn't need nappies for the next year, so it's grand. But I mean, like, you have to keep active, whether it be physically or mentally. You need to be doing something. You need to be looking towards something. And like, how much content are we going to be able to build around a Conor McGregor exhibition fight in our own backyard? Fingers crossed we'll be able to go to it, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the plan. And I was saying to you during the week when Connor was linked to fight against Pacquiao that I'm not that interested in seeing Connor box again. I'd much rather see him compete in MMA because that's the greatest version of Conor McGregor you will get in the octagon. Like, will the boxing be an absolute spectacle? Yeah, of course will. Will I watch it? Of course I'll watch it. And as it draws closer to it, you know, the McGregor vortex sucks you in, and you know, you become, you know, you're chomping at the bit for the next bit of content from him.
Yeah.
But what I want to see is, can he get back in the octagon and get that belt back off Khabib? That's what I want to see.
I know. Unfortunately, Khabib's taking on Gaethje. I think it's this time next month. I think it's like 4 weeks away. So if you are looking forward to that, make sure to like and subscribe, because we will be putting out videos about that as well. But Ross, obviously Connor, he's rode the wave of Irish MMA. He's absolutely smashed it. He's brought enjoyment to millions and millions and millions of people, and he's influenced a nation. The amount of MMA fighters these days in Ireland, where people training in it, is unbelievable. And even the stuff that Owen Roddy does with SBG Charlestown, he does the free classes for the women for self-defense. You know, I mean, it's changed the identity of Irish MMA in general and culture. But there is a new wave of Irish MMA fighters coming through, and no more so than Ian Garry and Paul Hughes, who we had on the show last week, and they both came off some unbelievable performances. Ian on the Friday, Paul on the Saturday. We may as well start off with Ian first, because he was first. What did you make of Ian Garry's performance over the weekend, and were you shocked? In Cage Warriors.
You know what? It's weird to say I am shocked, because I was shocked at how unbelievable his performance was. I couldn't believe the levels he has grown since the last time I've seen him
What's he doing differently?
Just his in-ring capabilities, his boxing, his head movement. Like, he was so flowy in there. Even when it got to the ground, you know, I mean, there was no panic. You know, he was blocking off submissions left, right, and center. I was overwhelmed by how good he was, and I was actually quite proud of him. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I was.
Yeah.
He was. He just represented himself so well, and it was a performance to be remembered.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, man. I think it's because, like, what was his record when he came to your house when we did the first podcast with him? 1-0?
Was he 1 or 2 now?
Yeah, he was very, very early. We probably were one of the first podcasts he ever did, like actually being there with people rather than just over the phone or a Skype interview. So like, following him ever since has been like, it's been cool, because you build bonds with these people you do interviews with. You're just like, you want.
How many times has he been on the show? 4 times? 5 times?
I think probably around 6 now. Like,
yeah, he's the record holder anyway.
Yeah, he's a couple ahead of Al Thorne. But yeah, like, what a performance! It's like such a mature, clinical job. And then like everything blew up. Like, Ariel Hawani was shouting him out. Everyone, like, he like looking back at it after, it's like, who's the biggest rising star in Irish MMA? And it's just Ian Garry. I know Paul Hughes is basically there as well, but the way Ian is just so different, as in, like, it just even the looks as well. Like, even with the purple shorts and blonde hair, like, he's also a welterweight. like a lot
Man, a
of.
bit harsh on Paul Hughes now that he has blonde hair too.
No, oh, did he dye his hair?
Yeah, he dyed his hair.
Oh, did he? No, but
Yeah.
I mean more like there's a lot of Irish MMA fighters that are all fighting around the lightweight divisions and the featherweights, and none of them are really kicking on to a different level and like making people stand up and watch. Whereas
I
Ian Mel,
do think being from Dublin helps him as well.
yeah, yeah, well, and you know, like maybe I'm being more biased because we've actually like sat down him numerous times. So like I probably am being biased, but it's just the way he went in there and put on such a masterclass performance. It was I can't wait to see the next one.
But the thing is, Barry, one doesn't have to be better than the other, or one doesn't have to be a bigger talent than the other, or a bigger star than the other. They can both be equally big stars in their own right, and I think they both will be equally big stars in their own right.
Well, then we may as well get the poll then, man.
I actually thought Paul's performance was so mature. It was almost like a veteran's performance.
Yeah.
He really wore down his opponent. Unbelievable clinch work. And then when it came time for the finish, and like he says, he's that 1% better than his opponent. He started going to the body, and you can see once he went to the body, like his opponent started to like seriously start dropping off levels. And then Paul eventually took him down, took his back, and got the choke. It was next to a flawless performance. Like there was at no stage where I ever thought Paul was in any danger whatsoever. And he out-grappled the person who was supposed to be the superior grappler.
Oh man, Paul was so good. Like, Paul was so good, and he was harsh on himself after. He said he wasn't really happy with it, and like I was just like, man, like if you think you can do better than that, like I mean, you're gonna go a long, long way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a couple of shout-outs as well. Leon, who actually lost, he's on Team KF. He jumped in 3 days notice. He lost, but I mean, having the balls and the grit to go in and put on a performance, shout out to him. And then also
John Mitchell, that was a good performance as well.
John Mitchell as well. Shout out to Graham Bolan for what he did with Cage Warriors, and like the production they put on was just it was very, very good, very captivating. You're very, very interested in the fighters, even if you don't know them. Like obviously they've announced they're going to do another trilogy later on in the year. Do you know what month? November, I think it is. Yeah. So like I think Ian and Paul could be back on that again. But also make sure to have them both back on the show. But the main event on the final night, Ross, with Mason Jones, become the champ and getting that win. That was Adam Proctor. Yeah, sorry, I Adam Proctor's name. But like that was just the icing on the cake of a brilliant 3 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, he matched Conor McGregor's Cage Warriors champ status. He's 9-0. He's undefeated. I actually think he's 10-0 now.
Yeah,
it was a brilliant performance. I actually expected Adam Proctor to win that fight. He was definitely the larger of the two. He sort of had Jones at the end of his jab at certain stages in the fight, but Jones just found a way to get on the inside. And you know what he reminded me? He's like the Welsh Justin Gaethje. That's the way I describe him. It was almost he fought with I was going to say reckless abandonment, but it wasn't reckless. It was sort of a masterful craziness.
Yeah, I think he knew that people thought he was going to lose, so he's like, "I'm going to just go out with my shield."
Yeah,
and then instead he ended up winning champ.
Yeah, and he got many knockdowns in that fight as well. It was very, very impressive.
Do you think he's ready for the UFC?
I really, really think he is.
Or should he go for the other belt as well?
Well, up to middleweight.
Yeah, go on. Why not? Like,
look, Mason Jones, he looks like a killer, and I'm excited to see what he does in the UFC. I think he can compete with the very best.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Shout out to Cage Warriors. That was they put in a really, really good production. There was obviously Bellator that was on Friday, Saturday night. Fabian Evers lost. Shout out to Will Fleury, he won.
And shout out to Liam McCourt making her professional TV punditry debut.
Yeah, shout out to Liam McCourt as well. But here, I'm going to say something here, and like I don't know if it's going to be controversial. It's not really meant to be, but it's just more of an observation. The production, obviously, UFC are the best, right? Like they have cameramen everywhere ready to go. Like even when you come up to the mat, when you're just getting the cream put on your face, they have a camera there, you're ready, boom. Bellator seem to be a few steps behind even Cage Warriors now. Like obviously Cage Warriors are the feeder to the UFC, so therefore everything that they do, they're going to copy down. The production Cage Warriors put in was brilliant. Like it was real. Like, whoa, this is definitely ground level. Whereas like when Bellator were on, the cameramen seemed to not really know what was going on. They were like zooming in the back of like people's heads. They were in there. It was just like the production was not as clean. And until they upgrade stuff, it's never really going to be seen on the same level as the UFC. I think a massive problem to do as well is not have rankings systems. Like, I mean, people in Ireland love all the Irish fighters, but they don't know who they're fighting, whether it be, there's no like, oh, he's ranked number 7, he's fighting number 5, or he's not ranked, he's fighting someone who's not ranked. It's just, there's no way of following people's careers. Like, are people going up or are they going down? Because you don't know.
Yeah, but I also feel like Bellator and then Bellator Europe are almost 2 different organizations as well.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to almost amalgamate them as the one for the US fans to see the European fighters and the European fans to see the North American fighters. And I do agree with you. A ranking system, I think, is brilliant. Maybe start off with a top 10. That's what the UFC done as well. Most people don't actually know that. UFC only had a top 10 originally and then expanded to top 15. I think Bellator should do the same. Especially with the way they do the tournaments, you know. I think the tournaments is cool. And I almost think if they seeded the tournaments, that would be better as well. If they said, this guy's the number 1 seed in the tournament, this guy's number 2 seed in the tournament. I'd like that better. I think it will give somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at an idea of what's going on. And when, you know, you get those upsets, like when Brett Primus does beat a Michael Chandler, you're going to go, fucking hell, that was insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There'll be more of a genuine reaction than, oh, there's a new champ. Who's that guy?
Yeah. It's lacking that bit of stardust. Like, I mean, like, let's call it a spade here. I know Kiefer, he's obviously on the show. He's on later for people who don't even want to listen to this. But he has that one thing that Bellator are looking for, like as James does as well. And they've already crossed him over into the American market as well. Whereas like some of the Irish lads are just solely on the Irish card. Like, if you like those guys, like as we talked about with Kiefer, like how he's been like he's so scientific with his food. Like these guys, like the other lads, they're all fighting on the undercards. A ranking system would help them so people could see, oh, they're gone from 15 to 11 to 8 to 6. You know what I mean? It'd be easier for their careers. I think it's just something that it would definitely help because, like, obviously doing the MMA shows, we know what can help things, and like giving them even a European ranking system, that would be huge as well. But Ross, Bellator is on this week. Before we go into the Kiefer interview, we'll just go over what's going on. This Thursday, Bellator is on. Paul Daly is fighting. He's taking on Anderson. Ross, what are you expecting from this fight before we go into the other fight?
Hopefully, we get a bit of fireworks between Anderson and Daly. You know, I actually haven't seen Derek Anderson fight too often, but we all know Paul Daly. Don't call him Semtex for nothing. Hopefully, we get a bit of explosion out of him, and hopefully, we get to see, you know, a fight of the year candidate that we know Paul Daly's capable of.
Yeah. And then also shout out to Brian Moore. He's fighting in this card as well. He's have to get moved to the main card as well. But there's someone you should definitely look out for. Norbert Novini Jr. He actually follows us, Ross, if you didn't know. But he's the guy who beat Will Fleury in the Tree Arena.
Norbert is good.
Your man's going to have his hands full. Blaine O'Driscoll's also on the card as well. This is on Thursday. Then, Ross, I'll go into Saturday's card. It's going to be headlined by James Gallagher against Cal Elner. This is the 4th time it's been booked. Ross, I'm actually buzzing to see this fight. I'm not even messing. The back and forth they've had, the amount of times it's rescheduled, it's all going down in Milan.
Yeah, it is all going down in Milan. I'm backing James Gallagher. I think he's going to get the job done. I think this time, instead of being a rear naked choke, I think he's going to get a guillotine in this fight. And I could see him getting it done in the 2nd round.
I don't think he's going to have it that easy. Like, Connor is obviously his background in boxing. I watched one of his documentaries there just to see what his real crack is, and he like used to work with like autistic kids and stuff. Like he has, and like his mom's really sick, and he's been looking after all this stuff, and he's come from a council estate, and like his backstory is just like, oh my god, like, I mean, this guy deserves something good to happen. You know what I mean? Like, and then like this could be one of them moments for him where it's like this was the moment where he got his big thing, you know? Like,
this is a big break.
It is his big break, man, isn't it? Like, and it's just like, I never knew who Cal was before this. He's obviously coming off a huge win in his debut against a former Cage Warriors champion. And then like this is one of them fights where if he wins on Saturday, the next morning his life has changed, I think.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Yeah. A win over James Gallagher definitely will do wonders for him.
But unfortunately, we're Irish. Unfortunately, we're Irish, so we're biased. I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm sure all the Sunderland MMA podcasts are just saying Cal's going to win. Charlie Ward's also on the card, and also Kiefer is on the card this week as well. Shout out to Sinead Kavanagh, she's on the card as well. Ross, you're Scottish doppelganger. Chris Bungard is on it as well.
Don't be saying that. He lost to Charlie Leary and I'm Team Kiefer, so I can't be him.
I know, man. But when you're a doppelganger, you're a doppelganger. So that's a spade is spade. But Ross, before we wrap up this week's show and people get to watch the interview with Kiefer, what you have to say about this week's show, and then what you have to say about the interview that's about to happen.
Firstly, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. Obviously, we always say we don't want to talk about cards that we don't really like. We're not keen on the UFC's card this weekend. We'd rather talk about, McGregor and Dana White ruining each other in the DMs. UFC 253, obviously, Adesanya versus Costa. We didn't even touch on Adesanya doing humping Costa after.
There was just so much, Ross. There was just so much.
There was a lot.
It's we were overly blessed with content this week. Next week it'll be good,
Yeah, next week we'll be we'll be hoping for a Kazmat reappearance. But guys, I hope you enjoy the Kiefer fight. I hope you're staying safe at home. I hope you're all looking after each other and yourselves. And make sure to like, share, subscribe. And as always,
they energize. But also, what do they have to look forward to in the Kiefer interview as well?
Well, Kiefer is my favourite fighter. Barry made me say it, and it's not totally untrue. I'm a big fan of him. You get to find out why he's fighting at a catch weight. You get the great insight onto why he used social media, the pros and the cons of it, and insight into where his mental mindset is on fight week. So definitely make sure to watch it. It is a great interview, and Kiefer, I must say, is a great interview.
He is. Also, we do bring up the breaking news that Conor McGregor is after him fighting Dustin Poirier over to Dublin, so we do ask Kiefer about that as well. So it's worth checking out. Ross, man, I love doing the shows with you, man. One of my favourite things of the week.
Yeah, it is. I love doing it. I think it's a serious buzz, and I'm already excited for next week.
I know, man. So
leave in the comments below who you want us to get on the show next.
Yeah, because getting the people on is what the people enjoy. So, Ross, I'll see you again next week.
See you next week,
always, bro. Enjoy the Kiefer interview. All right, so the main man, Kiefer Crosbie, is now on the show. Roscoe, your favourite fighter?
Yeah, Big Daddy, there he is, Dublin's finest. Doesn't get much better than that. How you doing, Kiefer?
I'm doing great, but that better not being a joke. I bet they'd be our favourite fighter.
After our interview in Cork, you definitely are, man. How you doing? You're over in Milan right now, getting ready for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm in quarantine at the minute, so got tested this morning. We flew last night, and then got tested first thing this morning. So
what happened with that, by the way? What happened with the flights?
Tell you what, man, fucking what a day, yeah. So we get on the flight, and this is a stupid o'clock, yeah. I got to the airport at 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Got on the flight. Next of all, your man comes on the fucking mic. Hey, y'all doing? Something wrong with the plane. We don't know what's wrong with the plane, but mechanic is going to come have a look. That's all I can tell you right now. So sit tight. That's basically what he said, yeah. So I'm sitting on the plane, everyone starts freaking out. The plane's fucking broke now, yeah. So 2 hours go by, we're still sitting there like fucking idiots, and then we had to get off the plane. So we got off the plane, and then they just cancelled the flight. So I just booked my own flights over, and we got them last night. But it was just a big rigmarole of a day. Do you know what I mean? It's stupid, but
yeah.
Well, fuck it, we're here now, and we're ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, don't be sitting on that shit. You know what I mean? You're here now.
Was the car clean? Was the car clean when you went and checked on it?
The car?
Yeah.
What car?
Well, you're not getting the car clean at the airport, no?
No, so example, the car valets are minding my car while I'm away. Yeah, so they're keeping it in good hands.
That's good. That's good. So, man, again, you're fighting a Kiefer weight this weekend. This man.
It's not my fault.
He'll fight at whatever weight you want, but he seems to get his own weight class in Bellator. The only man in Bellator with his own weight class.
Yes, mate.
And too right. Too right.
Yeah.
So Charlie Leary this weekend. What do you make of him as an opponent?
Yeah, good opponent. Originally it was Soren back, and he pulled out. So it was a lightweight fight. And I could actually make lightweight today, to be honest. I actually really could. So my weight's low. I'm lean as fuck, and I'm eating. I'm still eating a lot of food. So I actually could make lightweight today. So I still have a few days to go. Certain back was the first opponent, and then he pulled out. Wouldn't be like me to get a pull out, and then they came with him. So I like Charlie's record and stuff. He has a lot of fights, and the first thing that clicked in my head was that he has so many fights that I just know he won't pull out. Do you know what I mean? That was the first thing that came into my mind. And then he has like 3 times the amount of professional fights that I do.
Yeah.
So I like that as well. More experience than me. He's tough. He's a striker. I think he's a good opponent. I think I respect him. I think he's tough, and I think it's in the makings for a great fight, to be honest. And I'm just buzzing to get in there, especially after the fucking year that I haven't so far. I didn't think I was gonna get another fight, and just to even be sitting here, I'm just grateful. Do you know what I mean? That I get to go in there and fight and earn some money and do my thing.
Yeah, for people that aren't aware, Kiefer is fighting this Saturday. It's on Virgin Sport as well on Channel 5. If you don't know, now you know. Don't miss it. But yeah, Kiefer, when we had you on the show down in Cork last time, you were saying like Soren back, it was someone you definitely wanted to take on to like move your name up to another level. And like that's actually really disappointing to hear that that he had to pull out. But like now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're fighting this weekend. Like what has happened to your mindset, to your training over the last few months because of coronavirus? Because before, last time we all sat down with each other, coronavirus wasn't even a thing, and now it's like a real deal. Like how have you changed your mindset and where you want to go with your goal now, and what sort of performance should we expect for you on Saturday?
My mindset hasn't changed at all, to be honest. Obviously, it was a big kick in the teeth for everyone. I mean, not me, like everyone around the world was suffering with this. It's been a mad time, but I think you just have to, I don't know, put things into perspective. Like I didn't get sick. None of my family members died. You know what I mean? None of my family members were in the hospital. I didn't have to go through what a lot of people went through. You know what I mean? It is, I know it's a bad virus and stuff, but I do think it's getting dragged out now. I think there's better ways of handling it and stuff. But for me, I'm just focusing on myself. I'm in my own little bubble in my mind, you know. And any great martial artist or any great focused individual doesn't really focus on anything else other than the task at hand. And me, I more or less live in quarantine. Anyways, my life is quarantine. I just go to the gym, go home, and have a fight coming up, and I put the blinkers on, and nothing really affects me. So whatever's going on in the outside of the world, normally I don't even pay attention to, and that's been the route to my success. Obviously, when the gyms closed and the world stopped, it was crazy, yeah. But again, you just have to soldier on and adapt. You know, we're adaptable. We're human, so we just have to fucking roll with it. And hopefully we're over the worst of it and we can actually get back to some sort of normality and fucking just get on with shit. You know what I mean? But right now, I'm in Milan and I'm 4 days away from my fight. So I mean, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? Again, as I said, it was affected a few months ago, but Bellator, in fairness to them, they pulled this out of the bag big time. Big shout out to them. In fairness, I felt very safe even coming here. We got picked up by a COVID team, brought to the hotel, made do a test, isolating. Everyone's following protocol. So, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? And I feel like they've really they pulled it out of the bag, and I'm just delighted to be working with them, to working for them. Do you know what I mean? It's just I'm just so grateful to be here and actually do what I do, because a lot of people have lost their jobs and their businesses around the world.
Yeah.
It's been a mad time, and it's sad to see that, but I'm in a unique position that like I haven't lost my job. Do you know what I mean? I'm here working, and I'm just very, very grateful for that. You know what I mean? So
did you also take a month off social media as well?
A few months. I took a few months off. Yeah, fucking just. It's like the yin yang effect. Yeah, it has its good and it has its bad. And I thought to myself, I haven't been off social media. Do you know what I mean? Since I went on social media ever. So I thought, like, I wonder how I would change if I just went off social media. Do you know what I mean? As a person. And to be honest, it's mad because people always talk about, social media is making us all depressed and it's making us all this and that. And so I think the opposite nearly. I think people go off and they nearly like, they don't think they have no friends, and they think, I'm missing out on everything. I don't know what's going on with anyone anymore. No one's talking to me, because everyone relies on it to talk to each other now.
Yeah.
Everyone fucking sending each other shit and talking and liking me pictures and this and that. And for me, like, I just had a son, obviously, in February. I just spent time with him, spent time with my daughter. And I just got into my own little bubble, trained. I started doing other shit, literally just for myself, do you know what I mean? And like with my family and stuff. So then I went back on it and I was like, oh, nothing's changed. It's the same shit, you know what I mean? So now I use it more so like a business tool now, more so than just like my every waking moment of my life. I'm on social media. I don't scroll or go through shit all the time, and I'm locked on my phone looking at what other people are doing, to be honest. I just do my own thing. Do you know what I mean? I put my own shit up. If you like it, thanks. If you don't, I couldn't give two fucks, to be honest. I really don't. That's me mind now with social media. I don't care what I don't care what people think. I'm just doing me, and I appreciate everyone's support that supports me, and anyone that thinks I'm a dickhead or thinks he thinks he's this or that, well, they have to really focus on their own shit, you know what I mean? So that's what I think about social media. I don't give it the respect nearly that everyone else gives it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I just do my thing on it, and I promote myself, promote my fights. I mean, I have some good sponsors and I get money from it. So it's like I just use it as a business tool, you know what I mean? But real life is more important than
that sums you down to a T, you know, that Kiefer.
Yeah, do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon it does, yeah. No shit's given.
Just make sure you like my last picture and comment on it,
yeah?
Oh, stop. But you're also in the fortunate position that like you already have a fan base that like you can take the 2 months off and then come back and you're just right where you started. Whereas like certain people like just need to be constantly keeping in people's brains, you know. So it is a bit of a luxury like for certain people. And then but like you've already put in the graft to get into that stage, so therefore like you're just getting the rewards of the hard work and effort, you know. Yeah,
well, it's mad because like when I went back on social media, the amount of people that got onto me and were texting me, it was like mental. Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. The fucking messages I was getting off people, man, I missed you so much and all. I was like, this is mad. Like amount of people, were texting me. Like, and then everyone's like, is everything all right with you, bro? No, everything. What's going on? Is like, yeah, okay. Like, I was like, I'm fine. I just literally deleted the app for like a few months. You know what I mean? I'm fine. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's nearly like you can't go off social media now because people are gonna like associate that with something's wrong. It's like, no, nothing's. It's like if you go on a night out and you're not fucking drinking, it's like, are you all right? Are you sick? You on medication? You on antibiotics? You know what I mean? It's like when you go on social media now, everyone's thinking there's something wrong now. Yeah. He's fucking, you know what I mean, going through some shit. It's not even that. I think it's important for people to do that and put your time and energy into other shit, not just your phone. Because I'm telling you, man. Do you know it's actually a good joke on my phone? Yeah, I came up like it comes up like 2 hours spent on screen time or 4 or whatever. When you see them numbers and you think about like and you calculate that up in a year's margin, the amount of fucking time you spend on your phone is actually scary. And if you put them hours into something else, I think people will be more successful. Do you know what I mean? I put a lot of time and effort into martial arts and my athleticism and my, you know, like diet and like I do a lot of other stuff. Do you know what I mean? But people don't. They just literally fucking go to their job and on their phone. And even in their job, they're on their phone. It's fucked up. And then even you go to a night out, you go to a restaurant, you look around, everyone's on their phone. They're not even enjoying that meal. It's like, fucking hell. Like, when did this happen? Do you know what I mean? And I just kind of clicked in my head and I tried to put it down as much as I can. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I always think it's important that I put my phone down during like social situations. You know what I mean? Definitely. Like when you're having your lunch across the table from someone at work or a mate, like it's important not to be head first on the phone. Definitely agree with that.
Nothing worse than if you're out with someone that's on their phone, I feel like clattering the mouth off them and they're just there. Like you go for a fucking bite to eat with your mate and he's like an hour's gone by and they're just looking at their phone. You're like, what's the point in even being here? I may as well just FaceTime you or something.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's actually quite rude, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, wankers.
Yeah. Here, Kiefer, tell us about the food situation over there now. You're in quarantine. Is it room service or what's going on?
The food service, yeah. So we got an email last week saying this is the menu that you can get to select from, right? And they fucking burgers, pizza, pasta, chocolate.
This feels like the old you. This feels like the old you.
This is fat daddy Keith, yeah. This is past big daddy Keith. This is when I was a fat bastard. So the shit they had in the menu was actually like, you know.
Yeah, you're going to your honey box.
After the fight, to be honest, that much. You know what I mean? It was a bit heavy, but. So I'm fortunate enough to be in a financial position that I can actually bring my nutritionist with me. Shout out to Tristan Kennedy. He's like the past maybe 5 fights. I've been working with Tristan since I started Bellator anyways, yeah, so 5 fights. And he's monitored all my weight cuts. He's been giving me all my dietary information. He's been working with Natural Kitchen Ireland, who they deliver me food every day, and I can fly him out here, put him in an Airbnb close by. He can cook, deliver my meals every day, every time I need them, so I don't have to worry about any of that shit anymore. And the way, like, he has me eating more than I've ever ate and losing weight faster than I've ever lost it. So it's weird, but I just trust him. He's a genius when it comes to nutrition and the science behind nutrition, and not just like losing weight. Like, I used to just eat chicken and broccoli for about 12 weeks, you know what I mean, and not eat for about 3 days before the fight and kill myself in the sauna to make 77 kilos. So big shout out.
It's even the way he like makes the food. It looks like artwork. It's not just like thrown together. It's like it's healthy and like looks lovely. I saw in your story there. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, so I saw you had a few chops there, and I don't even like chops, and I was like, those chops actually look really nice.
They were lamb bread. Yeah, man, lamb. There you go. Like, I'm eating, like, I used to think like red meat and lamb and all these things were like, but I had steak yesterday. I used to stop eating steak about 6 weeks before the fight because I thought, red meat's too heavy in calories and bad for you and fucking, I don't know. Yeah, because you just think these things. You just, I'm not educated enough to know what he knows. You know what I mean? He's like a fucking genius when it comes to nutrition, and he's a great asset to my training, and he's a great man. Yeah, so he's helped me out a lot. Big shout out to him.
Ever since just a random question. Ever since you partnered up with Tristan, so that's been how much time has that been about? 2 years?
Well, 2018, the end of 2018, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, so nearly 2 years. Like, how much have you improved since you shook his hand and met him on the first day to like where you are now, sitting in Italy? Like, how much have you improved overall?
Big time. I'm not like, I've improved obviously, and I've made way healthy. You know what I mean? Which I used to literally, when I say like nearly kill myself to make the weight, like, you'd be dragging me out of sauna. Like, the boys used to like lift me up over back. My eyes would be closed. I'd be nearly fainting, making welterweight because I was doing it wrong. I woke up this morning at welterweight after having 6 meals yesterday, and I didn't think I was going to wake up that late. I was like, fucking hell, I'm actually like way lighter than I thought it was going to be. And I had a meal like at 11 p.m. last night and loads of water, and I'm eating like fucking loads of food, and I woke up and I was like, Jays, I remember the days I'd literally be in the sauna for hours killing myself to make weight, and just having him around is just, and schooling me on things. Like, I mean, even me now, I'm obviously learning every day as well, yeah. So like about what supplements to take, what sleeping patterns I should do, how to take a rest day correctly, and all, what I should be eating on my rest day and why, stuff like that. What, like, if I'm having a hard sparring day the night before, this is what you eat, and the amount of carbs that you need, and why carbs and proteins are needed. And so all this shit like that, I never would have known. You just take it for granted. You know what I mean? And I think it's, for me as well, I always try to put everything back into my career, yeah. So I don't just try focus on just, oh, well, that's it now. I always try to get better and better, and he's been a big asset. I feel like a better athlete, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So that's an important part of being a fighter as well, as being a better
I think from a physical standpoint as well, Kiefer, you actually look like more of an athlete than I've seen you. You're definitely leaner than I've seen you ever. Would you say that you're the leanest you've ever been?
1,000,000%. I got measured the other day, and I was 5.8% body fat. Do you know what I mean? So that's on. I got it like one of those Dex, not a proper DEXA scan, but it's the second best one to the DEXA scan. It's like a body track scan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You stand, measures your water retention, your BMI, your body fat, all that. And it was like 5.8, and that was full of food, full of water. So I'd say on the scales I'd be even lighter on Friday. So
it's mad, Ross. It's mad how much like the science that like obviously that like Kiefer's doing now. It's just it's a different level to what other people are doing.
Yeah, it's totally different level. But it's not only just a different level in terms of the science behind it, but also in the look. Like we follow so many fighters, and you see their food, and you're just like, oh my god, that looks so rough. You know what I mean? Kiefer looks like he's eating the gourmet meals every week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, people do be eating pug seafood, man. That used to be made out chicken, like a plain breasted chicken. Like what we used to do, was chicken and nut butter, it was called, for 6 days. So you start on the Saturday, and the weigh-ins are on the Friday, right? So Saturday, 3 times a day, maybe 4 times if you're lucky, you'd have a plain breasted chicken on the grill and a teaspoon of almond butter. And we would have that 3 times a day for 6 days. That was all we used to eat. And then we would water load. So literally, that was only fucking, Jay, that wasn't even long ago. That was they said the Josh Plant fight, yeah, the one with the blood now. For that fight, I was doing chicken and nut butter, and that was to make welterweight. So I used to wake up, have a breast of chicken, a teaspoon of almond butter, and then that would be at 9 a.m. And then at like 4 p.m. I'd have a breast of chicken, almond butter, and then at like 9 p.m. same again, go to bed 6 days. Imagine doing that for 6 days.
That was literally your last fight before you went to
That was miserable.
And
miserable.
That just goes to show you how fucking, like, I hadn't got a notion what I was doing. So now thank God, like, I tell Tristan these things and he looks at me like I'm fucking mental. But thankfully now I'm in a position that, like, I have him around, and yeah, he's a good lad, man. He's deadly, yeah. He's a good asset to the team. So.
And you're like 100% adamant you do want to be competing in the lightweight division. Or
I wanted lightweight for this one. I really did, like, and then obviously whatever Charlie asked for the catchweight. I said, because he came in, he's like, oh, I can make lightweight, and then I was like, right, fuck it, we'll get a different opponent. And then Bellator were like, nah, this is the opponent, we'll give you a catchweight. So I was like, right, fuck it. But I even felt like making lightweight maybe on Friday just for a buzz, but just because I'm not making way for me. Like, I'm not making way for them. I'm making way for me. I know I can make lightweight. As I said to you, I can make it today. I could literally start cutting weight right now, get the water out of me, and I'm that lean that the water will just flow on me. I can make lightweight. So, but yeah, whatever. I am. This is a lightweight fight in my head. Do you know what I mean? Charlie is a lightweight. I'm a lightweight. You just couldn't make it this time. So fuck it. You know what I mean? It is what. Who cares? Anyways, that's the other thing I thought about as well. Who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? It's a fight. No one cares. That was 160 though. Would he have fought as well at 155? It's like, shut the fuck up. It's a fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a fight. Who cares? People just want to see people fighting, and that's it. No one cares.
Yeah. My advice to you, Kiefer, would be take the fight you took the fight at 160, make 160. You're, in the middle of the pandemic. It's during COVID times. Just take it easy. Make your 160. Show up and knock the head off him on the night.
Thanks, coach.
No worries. Come
on, coach. But like, Kiefer, obviously you're one of the most known fighters in Ireland for like putting out spectacular performances and like very exciting fights. I mean, anytime in the Tree Arena, the place has been rocking. All the dubs are there. Like, obviously, like, you weren't overly happy with your performance in the last fight. Like, I mean, you had like that week could have been a movie for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have the birth of your child just all over the place. You didn't even know if you were going to fight. Like, what are we expecting now from Kiefer Crosbie this weekend? Because, like, the fans want to know.
Yeah, well, like, it is, like, a fight is a fight. Do you know what I mean? At this one, see, when you say like all these things, it seems like the usual shit. You know what I mean? This is the best I've ever been. This is all the shit, like, whatever generic answers everyone always says. And this is, like, for me, it's not only the best I've ever been physically, because obviously I'm in serious shape, but mentally now, I think even coming out of the quarantine thing and the whole COVID shit, it did put things into perspective for me. I don't know about everyone else, but I mean, there was one stage there in April, I think everyone thought the world's over, it's done, we're all dead, we're all going to die now. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't believe it at the start, but like, part of me was like, holy fucking hell, I can't even go 2 meters from the gaff? No, 2 meters. That's wrong. Is it 20?
I think it was 2K. 2K, yeah.
2K from the gaff, and I was like, that's mental, yeah. And then you walk around, you see guard everywhere, and they're stopping people. And I
got stopped today.
The enforcer, and you're like, fuck, this is like a real thing now. This is like the law. I'm getting given out if I drive to the shop. That's 3K that way. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, fuck me, it kicked in for me. And when I thought, like, we're never going to see the end of this, I thought, this is it now. Do you know what I mean? This is getting really bad. For now, like, I'm sitting here, I'm just full of gratitude, and I'm telling you, gratitude is a powerful, powerful feeling, and a powerful thing to have going into a fight. I think I'm just grateful. I'm healthy. As I said, I'm getting the fight, and I'm really happy going into this fight. And a happy fighter is a very dangerous fighter, and I'm just going to go out there and just school him. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to go out there and do what I do best, and fight hard. And as I said, I'm coming off 2 decision wins. It's mad because I'm coming off 2 wins and I'm not happy with them. And people are again thinking I'm mad, but that's just the way I am. I'm not going in here for no decision. I know he brings the fight, and I had a tricky fight the last time and a mad hard week, but I beat that guy on a really bad week. So imagine what I'm gonna do to this guy on a really good week. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I'm feeling going into this one, and I'm just gonna go in there and fight hard from the bell. and try put his lights out. Do you know what I mean? That's what I do best, and I'm just going into that mode. I'm just gonna give it everything. Do you know what I mean? Like I always do. And this will be my 10th professional fight and my 10th professional win. I know people keep saying I'm 8-1. I'm 9-0. You look at the disqualification. It's my most dominant fight. You know, I didn't get touched, and a man was unconscious after I laid hands on him, and it's a fight. You know what I mean? Let's not call it anything else. It's a fucking fight at the end of the day. He was panned out, and I strolled off. So
you were like, world star.
Exactly. So I'm 9-0. This will be my 10th victory in a row. So 10-0 on.
Kiefer Crosbie, the Irish John Jones.
Getting that loss in your record and like not actually like getting knocked out or getting choked out, like, you know, it gets that burden off your back that people are just constantly going on and on and on about it. You know what I mean? So like it's just like, right, that's done. I can like just carry on my way, because like look at Paulo Costa, who lost over the weekend. Like that could really, really affect him. It looked like it really affected him before he even lost.
But when you lose at that level, like, I mean, you're talking about you're losing against the best fighters in the world. You know what I mean? It's like there's no shame in that at all. So when people say, "Oh, that's going to affect," it's Paulo Costa, they say for it. Yeah, it can't affect him. He lost against a bloke who's 19-0, who's literally like the best middleweight in the world that we've seen since Anderson Silva in his prime. So there is no shame in that. You walk off, you dust yourself off, and his next fight will be like a top 5 again. He'll probably win. And then you try again. It's like there's no shame in that. Someone had to lose. No. And yeah, it was his time to lose that time. There's no shame in it. Israel is a fucking beast. And not only that, he's young and he's coming into his prime. So when you think about when you're losing to him, you have to just go fairness to him. You got beat by the best in the world, not some little hamhead that hadn't got a clue. And he just, you know what I mean? Like if you lose against an 0-4 fucking bloke that like has a belly on him, has been doing MMA 6 months, and you're like, or maybe,
all right, man, I'm right here.
Maybe right here, man. And get a bleeding job. This isn't for me. There's no shame in losing to really, really, really great fighters. You know what I mean? That's what I think. So, and again, that's all bollocks from the media and the fans. The media will say it, and the fans will say, "Oh, it's time to give it up. Oh, it's this and that." But fuck all them. Do you know what I mean? You do you, and you just. As I said, the media always say, "Oh, Kiefer's 8-1." They can say that all the fucking month, but you show me proof that I lost that fight. That's not a loss. Maybe you can call it a DQ, or you can call it a no contest. But I did not lose anything. You know what I mean? That man was unconscious and didn't get off the floor, and I walked off. Not a glove laid on me. So in a real, I won.
I actually think they need to change that rule that if you throw, we'll call it an illegal strike or whatever, and you knock the person out, it should be a no contest. It shouldn't be disqualification. And disqualification would be if you're like, you kick someone in the bollocks 10 times, or you're there like poking the eye or gouging their eyes out. Like that should be a disqualification. You lost, you cheated. And like an illegal strike that wasn't thrown intentionally should make it a no contest. And I think that's fair.
1,000,000%. Yeah, bring back pride rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, boot him on the ground.
100%. I mean, if I'm allowed roundhouse kick you standing up, why am I allowed kick you when you're lying down? It's the same thing. Like, I mean, it's hard to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm allowed full mount and elbow the head off you 20 times in a row, but I can't knee it while your knee is on the floor. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? This is just stupidity. Do you know what I mean? So, I think but I do agree with you. Yeah, exactly. There's a big difference between making a mistake and doing something illegal, biting someone. MMA fight, and you're like, oh, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? You bit that man's ear off. I'm not gonna get. You don't get 5 minutes to rest after that. Okay, DQ. Oh, I need you.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Kiefer, like obviously Bellator like go all over the world. They do in Japan, but obviously they're cleaning up in Europe, and like they're in America as well. You've previously fought in America. Like obviously James is on the card as well. They really want to give him a push in America as well. Like, have they told you anything that like where you could be possibly fighting next? Like, do you think you'll be fighting again in Milan? Or like how quick of a turnover do you think you'll have? Like, what will the end of the year pan out like for yourself?
Well, a little birdie told me that you have a show in December in America, and I'd like to fight Miles Jury on that show. So that's my game plan. Yeah, that's my plan. I'd like a big, like, when I say big name, if you look at the numbers and you look at the name, I'm a bigger name. So, but he has credentials that I'm interested in. He was in the UFC. He's a load of fights. He's beaten some big names. He's coming off some decent wins. So I want to fight these guys. There's no point in me keep harping on about I want to be the best in the world when I'm not fighting these people that were so-called in the best, fighting the best in the world and beating people like big names. So I want to fight people like him. So Miles Jury in December will be my goal. Yeah.
Didn't he beat Benson Henderson in the Tree Arena?
No, he lost.
He
No, he
lost.
lost.
One.
He
Yeah.
lost
Ben
to-
Henderson's another name that I'd like to fight and test myself against. You know what I mean? Former UFC champion.
Oh no, Keith, don't fight him. I like him.
You just said I was your favourite fighter, you little bastard.
Yeah, boy. I don't want to see my other favourite
You
fighters
like
get
me
knocked
more.
out. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Kiefer, with your contract, are you allowed, like, because I was just listening to the Bash with Pete Carroll and Noel McGrath, they had Artem on, and Artem keeps signing like 1-fight contracts because like he wants to be able to like do bare knuckle or like fight a boxing match. Like, are you, with your contract with Bellator, are you solely just MMA, or could you even do kickboxing with them, or could you do a boxing match? Because obviously Conor put out today that he's after inviting Dustin Poirier to fight on the 12th of December in the Tree Arena. Is that something that you'd be allowed to fight on, or you could arrange to be on?
I'd love to, yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I'd love to though. I'd love to have a few bare knuckle scraps, yeah. And I wouldn't mind fighting pro boxing. But again, like time. You know what I mean? My time right now is mixed martial arts world champion, and do you know what I'm saying? Like Conor has achieved everything in MMA. He's like literally, he's the champ. You know what I mean? I've lost count of the amount of world titles that man has won.
Whiskey as well.
Exactly. He's the whiskey champion. So I mean, at the end of the day, I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve in mixed martial arts yet. So there will be times where I will hopefully cross over and box professionally, maybe even have a few bare knuckle scraps if the cash is right, and do all of these things. Yeah, but right now, mixed martial arts world champion. I'm still only very young in this game, and I'm still only scratching the surface. As I said, this is only my 10th professional fight. Do you know what I'm saying? So we'll think about that further down the line, definitely. But right now, it's all about MMA to me. So
it's because there's a lot of like people talking shit online. The way there's like even Mike Tyson's back, and then there's like YouTubers like are calling out Dylan Dennis and everything, and like you're just not involved in any of this. You're just solely like being like, I want my next fight and keep building, which is it's pretty good to see, to be honest. You know,
I think it's look, I understand how important fame is for business. I understand how important following is, and you know all that. I understand it. Yeah, I get it. I 100% get it. But lock me in a room or lock me in a cage with these fucking idiots, that have bigger followings. Don't get me wrong, they have big, huge followings and they're this and that, and they're YouTuber stars and all this bollocks. Lock me in a cage and don't put no time limit on it, and just say, right, fight, and whoever wins, wins. And I guarantee you not one of them would ever win, ever. Because they're not on the mats every day. They're not doing the extra bits in the gym. They're not sacrificing their life to do what I'm doing. They're not on the mats asking the hardest person in the gym to do 10 rounds with. Oh, let's do jiu-jitsu with this black belt every day. Let's do boxing sparring with this high-level boxer. They're not doing that. What they're doing is they're creating noise, and that's good and it's important, and I get that, and respect, fair play to you. But if you want to be remembered as, remember that guy that had 2 million followers and he was sponsored by this, and I remember he had like 2 fights and he fucked off, and if that's your buzz, fair respect. I get it. Do you know what I mean? I get the whole thing, and we need that. But then there's other people like me that are real fighters, and I've been doing this since they're 10, and I've been doing this 12. I've dedicated nearly 20 fucking years of my life to martial arts at this stage. Not dedicated. I've got more dedicated as the years went on, obviously, when I got a bit older, but I've been doing this shit a long time, so I have to stay true to that as well. I'm a martial artist. I'm a fighter. Yeah, I'm building myself up on social media and shit, but my sole purpose is to be an MMA world champion. These Logan Paul cunts aren't going to be no like world champion. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Yeah, fight Mayweather and do all that, make some money, and people will tune in. And I'll probably look at it as well and be like, "Fuck it, I get it. I like it. I'm interested in it. I get it. Respect, fair play to you." But when it comes down to the fight and it comes down to what you'll be remembered by, then you know the real ones always prevail. The real ones always show, and that's the buzz I'm on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the buzz I'm on. I mean, like Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? Like, that man's going to go down in history as one of the greatest, scariest, best fighters of all time, with probably the best knockout highlight in boxing history. You know what I'm saying? He won't be remembered as some little fucking, I remember them YouTube videos where he fucking doing that for the follow, and he doesn't give a fuck about it. He's an animal, and he's in his 50s, and he still wants to show people I'm still an animal. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's motivational to me. So,
who'd you fancy for that fight? That was someone that, like, I know you just brought him up, but I was going to bring him up. Like, who'd you fancy for that fight? Tyson's return against Roy Jones.
I'll never count Tyson. He's my childhood hero. See the line in my head I always have in my fights? That's to pay homage to Mike Tyson. Yeah, if it wasn't for Mike Tyson, I don't even think I'd be fighting. But you know what I mean? Professionally, I grew up on Tyson. You know what I mean? He was my childhood hero.
Have you ever met him?
I've never met Tyson. I'd love to fucking meet him.
Yeah, because he was in Dublin. I remember there was pictures. Connor went to go meet him.
I think I was away when that was on in the fucking I was away. I was sick, but it was like a cute yoke. I had a holiday book, but I'd love to meet him. I will meet him someday, definitely, and talk to him. Probably even go on his podcast. Someday.
Oh, that's a great podcast. That is a great podcast.
Smoke a big fat blunt with him and just sit there talking. That would be wobble. Yeah, that's the goal. The Tyson Ranch. I'm telling you, man. I want to go to that Tyson Ranch. That's my goal.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Knock off those Pitbull brothers. Collect that 155-pound belt, and who knows? That's the world is your oyster, then, my friend. The world is your oyster.
Yes, bro. That's the plan. 100%. 100%.
Well, Kiefer, just before we wrap things up, like, you know, obviously, ever since we had you on the show, like, we've been following how you're getting on. Like, you're a top man, you know. Also, quick question: is that mural still up with yourself in around Smithfield?
They fucking tore the building down. Like, mate, look, I'm not that ugly. You know what I mean? Like, fuck me. I went back one day. I was walking by, next of all, there was a construction site there and tore the whole building down. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not that bleeding bad.
You're gonna have to get out to, what is it? Is it subset?
Subset done that as I think the night before my professional, my Bellator debut, and the day of the weigh-ins, they just put that up and sent me a snap, and I was like, wow, I was blown away. I was like, fuck, that was unbelievable. But shout out to them as well. They're unbelievable. I'm a big fan of their artwork, and that was very humbling. That was very, very, very humbling to have that in Smithfield. But maybe let's get a big. Remember that big Stormzy one? Maybe I should get a big mural there and a big huge joke. You know what I mean? Big fucking. Big monstrous thing, so maybe
I'll make sure to tag them in this video, so hopefully they do that. But obviously you mentioned that you may be going to America at the end of the year. Like that could probably finish off your 2020 in like just unbelievably well. Like having the second child, then come back and then cracking America, and then next year it's just let's see what happens with Kiefer Crosbie and Bellator in America.
That's my plan, 100%. I want another fight before the year is 100%. I don't want to be waiting until next year. So December, I'll be good to go, 100%.
You'll have to come back on the show and tell us about it in the build-up as well, right?
Let's do it. Good.
And Kiefer, how do we get the business done Saturday night?
Knockout first round is what I'm thinking, man. I'm itching for a knockout. Do you know the way people get trigger happy? I'm punch happy. I'm just looking to go through this, man, the first round. So definitely tune in. It's going to be a serious scrap.
Must see TV, as we say here. Must see TV.
Everything involved with me is must see TV, mate. Come on, you know this.
You know the sauce.
Well, guys, thanks a million for tuning in. Make sure to follow Kiefer and check him out this weekend on Bellator, because first round KO. That's what we're looking for, Ross. We're putting all our money together, and we're putting on that.
Put that gap.
Put up the gap. But, thanks a million, guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always,
stay energized.